Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dagmara Dreiškena. I represent Talsi Business Incubator of the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia. I will tell you about business incubators in general. Business incubators by Investment and Development Agency of Latvia are part of European Development and Reconstruction Fund project implemented in Latvia. Business incubators will be operational in Latvia for 6 years, and we've been operating already for a year. Here you can see the location and number of business incubators in Latvia. Altogether, there are 15 business incubators. Previously in Talsi, we were located in Krišāņu Valdemāra Street 17A, as you can see here, but now our new address is Kalna Street 4. Talsi Business Incubator supports entrepreneurs and business idea authors from Talsi, Kuldiga, Liepaja and Mārsrakas municipalities. The program is aimed at promoting regional entrepreneurship. In Riga, there is a special incubator which provides support for creative industries, but all the other business incubators are promoting regional entrepreneurship. In this slide, you can see all of the services available in a business incubator. Today, I will focus mainly on financing. This is not what I usually do. In fact, we always emphasize that business incubator is not only about money, and it is basically about all the other things and services we provide. Participants of business incubator, not only in Talsi but also in other business incubators in Latvia, have admitted that the opportunity to share experience, to share knowledge, to be part of the community is the most valuable benefit from business incubators. But money is a good thing, especially when you can get it just for nothing and you don't have to repay it and give anything in return. But there are some criteria. First of all, in order to receive financing, a company needs to become member of a business incubator. Financing is available only for legal entities, and natural persons can receive, as I say, a mental support advice. But financing, I want to emphasize, is available only for legal entities. In order to become a member of a business incubator, a legal entity needs to be older for no more than 3 years and needs to work in one of the supportable industries. These are the formal criteria. It's not possible to bypass them. There are no exemptions. For instance, if a company is conducting its activities in trade, fisheries, primary production of agriculture products, real estate, gambling, trade in weapons, we cannot support the company. The company needs to comply the criteria of small, medium-sized companies according to its number of employees, turnover and performance indicators, and the company is not allowed to perform the so-called continued entrepreneurship. It means that, for instance, a company has been working for more than 3 years and it then learns that it's possible to get some funding from a business incubator. It closes its activities, opens a new limited liability company, and applies for a business incubator as a startup. We try to prevent such fraudulent activities. Since the funding provided by business incubator is considered as de minimis funding according to the terms of European funds, the company cannot exceed the limit of de minimis amount, and the company may not have tax debts. But as to more interesting things, here in this slide you can see the ways how to receive funding or co-funding in a business incubator. First and foremost, I want to emphasize that we can provide co-funding only in amount of 50% in a business incubator. It means that if you want the business incubator to co-fund your costs, we can offer only 50%. But the 50% we co-fund will be given to you simply on simple terms and without requesting anything in return. The co-funding we offer can be divided into two large parts. These parts could be rather considered as a ways to receive or obtain funding, because basically the targets or the sources of investment are one and the same. Co-funding for services can be received as, in a way of procured service procedure or in a way of grant procedure. Grants are available also for purchasing equipment and raw materials. The procured services can be divided into two subparts: services and room rental and accountancy. When it comes to room rental or premise rental and accountancy, the procedure is easier than it is for other services. Grants, however, are available for services and for co-funding of equipment, raw materials, or, as I say, tangible assets. At first, I would like to talk about purchased services or procured services. The procured services may include any type of service a company might need for its development and growth. Here you can see the most common examples requested by the companies who are members of business incubators, and these are different type of marketing services, marketing campaigns, development of marketing materials, videos, photo shoots, development of design, logos, etc. As to more sophisticated services, we also provide co-funding for technology development, recipe development of food producers, nutritional value calculation, prototype development for technology-intensive companies, and other. The procedure to receive a service or 50% co-funding for service as part of the procured services system is as follows. We collect requests or applications for services from all of 15 Latvian business incubators and all of the companies. We do it once quarterly. Then we analyze how many of the companies need one and the same service. For instance, a company in Talsi needs a web page, also a company in Valmiera needs a web page, and a company in Daugavpils might need 2 web pages. And then we try to decide how to proceed. There are 2 options how to proceed. One of them is procurement. Procurement procedure is lengthy. It is more complicated in legal terms, and it is more painstaking for our members, or as we call them, customers. But it is necessary to open a call for proposals as part of the procurement procedure if we have estimated that the contractual amount for the service could exceed 10,000 euros per year. If a company or several companies request a service which costs less than 10,000 euros a year, then each of the companies can simply conduct price survey for the respective service. We approve the results of the price survey and the company can purchase the respective service. But we are the ones who organize the procurement. Our customers, members of the business incubator, request the necessary service. We have assessed that the service is actually needed and it will help for the company to grow, but we do all the legal formalities. A 3-parted agreement is concluded. What is important is that participant of a business incubator does not have to provide initial funding from its own funds. We conclude three-party agreement. Service provider sends one invoice to the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia, another invoice to the actual receiver of the service, and no initial funding is necessary. When it comes to such services as technology development, which is quite costly, it is important for startups that they don't have to provide any initial funding from their own funds. Rental of premises also falls under the remit of procured services, but here the procedure is easier. There's maximum limit of 2,500. This limit cannot be exceeded. This is a limit for each participant of a business incubator. We check that the payment for the rent complies with the market prices, and we are ready to co-fund 50% of costs for rental only for production and office premises, but not for, let's say, warehouses. We can co-fund costs for rental, but not for utility bills. And the maximum amount, as I said, is 50% co-funding in amount of 2,500. Procedure is the same. A three-party agreement is concluded between the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia, the lender, and participant of the incubator. The participant or member of the incubator does not have to provide initial funding from its own funds, and it only pays 50% of the costs. Another type of services provided as part of procured services is accountancy. Accountancy services are not directed at development of a company, but it's something that is necessary on daily basis. We organize an annual call for proposals, and companies who want to provide accountancy services for members of business incubators in Latvia can apply. If a member of a business incubator wants to receive 50% co-funding for its accountancy costs, it needs to select some of the accountancy companies which have been awarded contract as part of our procurement procedure. Do you have any questions? Interpreter didn't hear the question. The answer is, it is not like that anymore. It was like that in the previous programming period when business incubators were administered by private operators, not by the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia. Now it's 50%. That's it. Easy to remember. As also in case of accountancy services, a three-party agreement is concluded. But what you have to remember is that the procured services are organized by the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia, and no initial funding from your personal funds is needed. The second type of financing available for business incubator members is grants. Grants is something you receive, you don't have to pay it back, you simply use it for your own needs as efficiently as possible. There are two types of grants available. One of them is available as co-funding for services. In this case, grants also provide 50% of co-funding. But what are the benefits of grants over procured services? The procedure of grants is easier, but here is a limit. The maximum amount is 10,000 euros per each request. The other type of grants available is grant for equipment and raw materials. It is of interest for many participants of business incubators. We check if the company actually needs the respective equipment or raw materials for its business activities. In order to apply for a grant, a company needs to be a member of a business incubator for 1 year. When a company applies to become a member of business incubator, we negotiate and set particular goals regarding the turnover, the expected amount of customers, users, products and services to be developed, etc. After 1 year, we evaluate the performance indicators of a company, and if the company is successful, we allow the company to apply for a grant for equipment and raw materials. The maximum amount for grant for equipment and raw materials is 5,000 euros. This is our co-funding. If equipment costs 10,000, we pay back 5,000. If equipment costs 1,000, we pay back 500,000 to the member of business incubator. But if equipment costs 60,000, we can pay back no more than 5,000. When it comes to grants, it is necessary to provide initial funding by the member of business incubator. Later, we pay back 50% of the total amount. One member of a business incubator can apply for grant 4 times a year. All of the 4 grant applications can be made for equipment or services or any other combination of the both, but no more than 4 applications a year. What makes grants attractive? Actually, the whole system of grants was introduced only recently. It was just a month ago, in November, when the new procedure was approved. Previously, there was a different procedure. Grants were allocated as part of a competition. Not everybody could access a grant system, but we decided that we need to change the procedure in order to make grants more accessible, and customer himself or herself administers grant. Customer performs a price survey, and he or she doesn't have to choose the cheapest proposal, but simply a proposal which more or less complies with the market price, and it definitely does not have always to be the cheapest price. Simply the price has to be justified. The allocation procedure is much simpler now. It involves less paperwork. A customer or member of a business incubator simply can apply for a grant. We confirm it within a couple of days. We don't wait for quarterly evaluations. The head of the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia signs a decision on allocating the grant, and in a couple of days a company can already buy the equipment or service. Therefore, this procedure is not so lengthy. Everything happens in almost no time. And then in a couple of days, we also return 50% share back to the member of the business incubator. It is fast, it is convenient, and these are the main benefits of grants. Here I have also some other information about grants and the procedure, but I think we could skip it because it's late already. Do you have any questions? Interpreter didn't hear the question. The answer is no. But you have to justify it. You can buy it also from natural person, and there's no requirement that you definitely need to buy a new piece of equipment. You can also buy used equipment. We evaluate that on an individual basis. Well, I believe grants, it is like a candy, you know. Nobody is requesting you anything in return. The only thing we as business incubator or European Union is interested is it is your growth, your success, the development of your business. We are happy with that. You can simply say us thank you, and we wish you all the success, and we request that you work on the aims that have been set. All this information is available on our webpage www.lia.gov.lv. Here you can see everything about our program. We are also present in Facebook. You can follow us. So thank you. That's it from my side.